Hi students, welcome to Alphos e-learning chemistry classes for second year. The running chapter is electrochemistry and now we are in session number 33. In previous sessions we discussed about the electrolytic cells and the electrochemical cells where we can generate current from the chemical reactions, that is nothing but redox reactions. All we discussed previously, and what are the different factors that influence the EMF of the cell and how to increase the EMF of the cell. All these we discussed in previous sessions, and now we reach to the last part of the electrochemistry, that is nothing but constructing the batteries, how the batteries are constructed and how they are working. These discussions we have to made in the last part of the chapter, and here in this session we are going to discuss about these batteries, how many types it is and how they are working, what are the electrode reactions, how much of current we can expect from these different cells. All these we are going to discuss in this session. Clear? And now first let me define what is a battery. Battery, it is nothing but an electrochemical cell. Electrochemical cell, or a series of combined electrochemical cells that can be used as a source for direct current at constant voltage. Here we are getting direct current, that too at constant voltage. That means here when we are using the batteries, the voltage till the end of this redox reaction of the battery, the voltage will be maintained constantly. That means slow dropping and dropping of the voltage is not observed in case of electrochemical cells. In case if it is of stop to work, at a stretch it will come down. Till that when it is in functioning, its voltage will remain constant. Clear? So such type of one electrochemical cell or a series of combined electrochemical cells which are used as a source for direct current at constant voltage is known as battery. And these batteries are of two types, you remember. These are of two types. As we know already, we are very familiar with all types of batteries. One is nothing but they are use and throw. That means once we are using the battery, thereafter it is after completion of the total discharge of the battery, we are not able to recharge it. That is use and throw type of batteries. Those are here known as primary cells. Primary cells are nothing but the cells that are non-rechargeable. These are known as primary cells. Non-rechargeable. Why these are non-rechargeable? It is because their cell reaction is non-reversible. Simply we can say that these primary cell reactions are not reversible. And this can also be defined as the cell which is not previously being charged. That means if the cell is not previously charged directly, that means from a chemical reaction directly we are getting the current, it is not previously charged. Such type of cells are also primary cells. That means primary cells are not rechargeable, and here this current is generated only because of the non-reversible cell reaction, a redox reaction. Clear? For this primary cell, it is examples are nothing but dry cell. Mostly what we are using is this. This is also known as a Lee-Clank cell. Lee-Clank cell. And next one is mercury battery. Mercury battery. And fuel cells are also examples for the primary cells, because once we use the fuel for the generation of current, it is not possible to regenerate the fuel. That's why fuel cells are also one type of primary cells. These are different kinds of primary cells. And second one is nothing but secondary cell. Secondary cells. Secondary cells means these are rechargeable. These secondary cells are rechargeable. Why? Because their cell reaction is reversible. So altogether, simply we can say that the cells that are prepared from non-reversible cell reactions are primary cells, and the cells which are constructed by a reversible cell reaction electrodes are nothing but the secondary cells. Secondary cells, rechargeable, are also known as accumulators. Accumulator, it is the secondary cell because the reaction is reversed and the current is again accumulated. Thereby the secondary cells can also be considered as accumulator. Here the reactants during the discharge will convert into products, and during recharge the products are now coming back to convert into the reactants. Clear? And now in this class we are going to discuss about the dry cell, what are the components present in that. Best example, dry cell. And then secondary cell. The best example for secondary cell is nothing but lead storage battery, which is mostly used in our vehicles. Two-wheelers or four-wheeler vehicles, we are using this lead storage battery, and what is the component present in that and how it is working. All these we are going to discuss in this session. Clear? And first let me move into primary cell, that is nothing but dry cell or Lee-Klang cell. Here in this primary cell, first of all, the components are zinc container is there. Zinc container, it is nothing but the outer ring, what we are observing in our regular used batteries. Here primary cell, it is zinc container. Here container is nothing but, just you observe, this is the battery, our regular used battery. A rough diagram, let me draw here. It is when it is having inner part and the outer part is also there. Here we are making a cut for this, that's why. This one is the outer part, this one is the outer part, and this outer part is nothing but the zinc made. That's what we are considering. In this zinc container, it is the outer part of the battery. We are making a slight cut of the battery, and now we appear the inner parts. We are getting the inner parts of this battery. It is clear. And now we are considering that this zinc container, it is behaving as or acts as anode. You remember, it is behaving as anode. That is nothing but the outer part. This is zinc. And then graphite rod is there. Graphite rod. And this graphite rod is nothing but the central rod. This is graphite rod. And this graphite rod is behaving or acting as cathode. Graphite rod is behaving as cathode source. Nothing but here actually graphite rod is giving some sort of support for the cathodic reactions. That graphite is not involved in the reaction. Just you remember, graphite is non-metal, it is not involved in the reaction. Here just it is of giving support from the cathodic reactions. Clear? And next, this graphite rod is covered or enveloped, covered by a paste of MnO2 and powdered graphite. These two around this here, this is enveloped with MnO2 and powdered graphite. And here along with this, the moist paste of NH4Cl and ZnCl2 is behaving as electrolyte. It is behaving as electrolyte. Here in this part the blackish part, that is when we open the battery, inside the battery we observe the blackish moist paste, that is nothing but having all these ingredients, that is nothing but MnO2 and then powdered graphite and then NH4Cl and ZnCl2. All these are present here. It is MnO2 plus NH4Cl plus ZnCl2 plus carbon powder. Graphite is nothing but one isotope of the carbon. That's why all these are present in this. Clear? And in these components, zinc is behaving like anode and graphite is behaving as cathode. At graphite, cathodic reaction. Anode means here oxidation will take place. Already we studied now. We are thorough with this one. Oxidation, and at cathode reduction should take place. Oxidation and reduction is nothing but, oxidation is de-electronation and reduction is nothing but electronation. These two will happen at these respective electrodes. And now after constructing this is the middle part is nothing but graphite rod. Around this graphite rod, this combination is present, and covering that zinc container is there, zinc layer or zinc metal sheet is there, and it is covered with wax. Wax is used for covering that one. Clear? That is the structure of the battery. And now let us see what is happening. That is nothing but what are the electrode reactions and what is the total cell reaction and how much of current or voltage we can expect from this cell. All these we have to discuss. Let me give that. At anode the reaction is zinc by releasing 2 electrons will get oxidized into Zn+2. And at cathode, already I told you, no, it is nothing but carbon. Graphite is not involved, it is just giving support. Here at cathode, what is happening is this NH4 plus from the paste is getting reduced by taking electrons, and here 2 moles of ammonia will form and 1 mole of hydrogen will be released. This is happening. Here 2 electrons released, here 2 electrons are obtained, and now the net reaction is these electrons cancel. Now Zn plus 2NH4 plus giving Zn+2 plus 2NH3 plus H2. This is happening during the cell reaction. This is the total cell reaction. Clear? And here this NH3 ammonia when reacts with Zn+2 and it reacts with Zn+2, 4 moles of ammonia will react with Zn+2 and it is forming ZnNH3 4 times plus 2 complex. So because of this complex formation, this reaction, that is the cell reaction, becomes non-reversible. Because of this reaction, the question, one of the important question for competitive examination lies here. It is nothing but why the cell reaction in primary cell, that is nothing but Lee-Klang cell, is non-reversible. It is not reversible. It is nothing but because of the formation of a complex by the combination of the formed ammonia with zinc. It is forming the complex. As you know, complexes are not possible to come back. That's why the reaction is non-reversible. Clear? And that's why it is not rechargeable. And now coming to this, in case if we are keeping, when it is nothing but discharging means when we are using the cell, it will happen, no doubt at all. But when we bought some battery and they are not used for a certain time of or over a long time, then what happens? After a long time, when we try to use that cell, automatically it is not working. Even though we are not using it, it is not working after over a time. Why it happens? Because this zinc which is present as a container, that is metal sheet, will react with ammonium. This cell reaction will happen. Automatically it will happen because the metal zinc metal sheet is present around that will go for this type of reaction, and thereby the lifespan or lifetime of this primary battery is very less. Clear? And now when to protect this cell, so that means even when we are not using the cell for long time, how we can protect this functioning of this cell? It is nothing but simply by replacing this ammonium with a KOH solution or KOH paste. Instead of ammonium chloride, if we are using KOH, then this type of the corroding of corroded zinc is not happening. That is, corrosion for the zinc metal is not happening, and thereby it can be protected. Clear? And when once we are using KOH in place of NH4Cl, the cell is now known as alkaline dry cell. Alkaline dry cell. Why? Because it is alkaline in nature. KOH is basic in nature, and that's why when we are using KOH in place of NH4Cl, it is known as alkaline dry cell. Clear? And altogether with all this arrangement, the voltage what we are getting is 1.5 volts of current. So for a general used dry cell or Leclanch cell, voltage is 1.5 volts. That is about primary cell. And now coming to secondary cells. The secondary cells are also known as accumulators. The best example is lead storage battery. Lead storage battery, or simply it is known as lead storage battery, or simply it is known as lead accumulator. And how it is constructed? What is the secondary cell characteristic? Already we know. For secondary cell, best example is lead storage battery. And you remember, this lead storage battery is working on the principle of double sulfation theory, because in both forward and backward reactions it is getting sulfation. That's why double sulfation, 2 times sulfation is happening both at cathode and at anode. We are going to observe that one at electrodes, what is happening. Clear? And this one, in this lead storage battery, it is a reversible cell. Reversible means it is nothing but rechargeable once we are using the battery, and thereafter by passing current through that electrolyte solution, we can make the cell reaction to become reverse, and we can generate, that means when we are making the reactions to become reverse, once again we can use for the generation of the current. Clear? And here how this lead storage battery is constructed. It has 6 cells connected in a series. Clear? And each one is of having 2 volts of voltage, and thereby 6 into 2, totally from this we can get 12 volts of current. And now here the anode is nothing but the lead, porous lead rod. It is covered by a grid of lead and antimony alloy. This is behaving as anode. Anode is nothing but OH. Clear? And now cathode. At cathode it is nothing but RHE. Here lead dioxide, that is nothing but PbO2, supported by same again lead and antimony alloy, is behaving as cathode, where reduction takes place. And now H2 is 20% H2SO4 solution, that is nothing but with a specific gravity of 1.5, H2SO4 solution is used as electrolyte. it is electrolyte. And now with all this, how to represent this lead storage battery? Now let us try to represent it. Anode, first we have to represent, so lead, and it is with lead sulfate, and H2SO4 is the common electrolyte for both, and then PbSO4, then PbO2 along with lead is cathode. This is representation of the lead storage battery. This is anode and this is cathode, and a common electrolyte is there. In previous sessions we know that when common electrolyte is present, we have to represent in between these two electrodes for the cell construction, is it not? So in such a manner the cell is represented like this. And now let us move what is happening at electrodes during, because it is a reversible cell, during discharge. Discharge means when the cell is working, when we are using the cell, what reactions are happened at electrodes. And during recharging means after certain usage we tend to recharge the battery, and when the recharging, what is happening at respective electrodes. First let us see during discharge. Discharge means during its functioning, what is happening at anode. This lead, simply by releasing electron, de-electronation is nothing but oxidation, giving Pb+2, and here this Pb+2 by taking SO4-2 will get into PbSO4. So the total reaction here is at anode Pb plus SO4-2 gives PbSO4 plus 2 electrons. That is anode reaction. And now coming to cathode. At cathode, what is happening? At cathode, PbO2 is there already. At cathode, lead dioxide is there, and this lead dioxide is now first split into Pb+4 and 2O-2, and this 2O-2 will get 4H+, thereby they are converting into 2 moles of water. And now this Pb+4 is now getting 2 electrons. Here electronation, you observe, this electronation is nothing but reduction, and it is giving Pb+2. And now this Pb+2 is getting SO4-2, similar to this. That's why it is double sulfation theory. At anode this is connected with sulfate, and here at cathode also it is connected with sulfate, and now it is giving PbSO4. Now what is the cathode reaction? After cancelling this one and these, and then Pb+2, and now the total is nothing but PbO2 plus 4H plus SO4-2 plus 2 electrons, giving 2H2O plus PbSO4. Just to observe, here at anode electrons are released, and at cathode electrons are gained. Clear? And now let us write the total cell reaction. The total cell reaction is Pb is there plus PbO2 is there, PbO2 plus SO4-2, SO4-2, 2 SO4-2 ions present and 4H+ present. Totally we can consider them as 2H2SO4, giving, these electrons are now cancelled, giving 2H2O plus 2 moles of PbO2, PbSO4. Now you observe Pb, this is the total reaction, cell reaction. Here at anode, sulfonation, at cathode also sulfonation. That's why this lead storage battery is found to function depending on double sulfation theory. Clear? And this is the total cell reaction during discharge. And now when it is recharged, just you remember, when during recharging, this reaction, recharging, in recharging of the reaction, just you observe that this anode is now behaving as cathode. It is cathode. That means a reverse reaction will take place. In a reverse reaction, what is happening? Here electrons released. That's why oxidation. When a reverse happen, electrons are taken by this. And when electrons are taken, it is electronation. Electronation is nothing but reduction. So this will behave as cathode, and this cathode will behave as anode. This is anode. That means the total reaction, this one will happen as anode. And when, if we are writing that during charging, what are the reactions happened is just it is reverse. PbSO4 plus 2 electrons will give Pb plus SO4 minus 2. This is during charging, and this is behaving as cathode because electronation. And here this is behaving as anode. What is happening? 2H2O plus PbSO4 is giving PbO2 plus 4H plus SO4 minus 2 plus 2 electrons. Just a reverse reaction is happening. And here de-electronation takes place. That's why it is behaving as anode. Just you remember, anode in the discharge is behaving like cathode during recharge. Cathode during discharge is behaving like anode during charging. Now with all this, you know, during charging, what happened to the total cell reaction? It is nothing but a reverse of this. Let me write here. The reverse of the total cell reaction happens like this. During charging, the reaction is 2H2O plus 2 PbSO4 gives Pb plus PbO2 plus 2H2SO4. This is the reaction that happens during charging, and this is the reaction that happens during discharge. They may ask in your competitive examinations, they may ask the total cell reactions during charging and discharging, or they may ask only at electrodes what is happening during charging or discharging. Clear? And that's why you should have thorough idea about this. In coming session, we are going to discuss how much of current we can expect when that current which is generated or what we are using as output of the current will depend on the concentration of H2SO4. So when we observe the concentration change in H2SO4, the change is useful in finding this current which is generated during that discharge. Clear? That is during the functioning of the cell. How much current will generate, how it is related to the concentration of H2SO4, we will discuss in the next session. Clear?